Titan Souls is a game I've been looking forward to for a while. A top-down perspective game with a complete focus on challenging boss fights really resonated with me. It sounded like all the best bits of the classic Zelda series, or what made Shadow of the Colossus such a hit. What I've come to realize though after finishing Titan Souls, however, is that if you're going to make a game all about boss fights, you better have some good boss fights. Titan Souls is a game for people with patience. Lots of patience. You'll die over and over and over again until you figure out a boss's pattern. The main gimmick of the game is that the player character can die in one hit, but the same rule applies to bosses as well. One well-timed shot with your arrow is all you need to topple these titans. I'd like to say that Titan Souls felt rewarding with each boss you kill, but it really isn't. Sure, there are moments where you pat yourself on the back for figuring out a boss's strategy, but because each boss can be killed with one hit, it means that most of these bosses have relatively simple patterns, and that they can be killed within a matter of seconds. It doesn't help because of your player's limited abilities. There's not too much creativity when it comes to boss patterns. You have an arrow, and you can roll. That's about it, and those two skills are going to have to carry you for the entire game. Most of the bosses don't deviate too far from find weak point, shoot arrow at weak point because of this. I wish I could say I was oversimplifying the process, but Titan Souls is almost too streamlined for its own good. There are a couple clever bosses in the beginning of the game that make you think that the best is yet to come, but I found the later bosses to be fairly underwhelming. This was like the most clever boss fight in the entire game. It was really good. There are the occasional bosses that you just accidentally kill too. The final boss, which I won't show, easily took up an hour of my 2.5-hour playthrough. When I finally killed it, it was by complete chance. There was no sense of accomplishment, just a feeling of utter bewilderment. Also, there's the worm boss in the lake, which, if you see here, I'm aiming for its head, and I actually finally kill it by hitting its tail, which I didn't mean to do. It just happened, and kind of felt like an idiot. Because Titan Souls is so short, it should be known that after you complete the game, a number of challenge modes unlock. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm the back of a game box right now, but I have to tell you what these modes are in order to really explain my biggest problem with Titan Souls. There's a hard mode, which expands on boss patterns. There's a mode which disables the ability to roll and run, and there's Iron mode, which lets you only have one life to complete the entire game. Personally, none of those unlocked modes really were appealing to me outside of hard mode. I can't even imagine what the no rolling mode's going to be like when you're not the final boss. Like that just sounds pretty stressful and annoying. The biggest problem I have though is that this game's really short, right? And they want you to play it again. They want you to play on harder difficulties. They want you to play with all these handicaps. But I don't know. It just feels really alienating. Like, it feels like, oh, you beat normal mode. Well, you know what? Try beating the game without rolling. And only with one life. No, thank you. No thanks. I don't want that. I just feel like this content is just, it's too alienating. And not really worth the effort to even try. If you're into that stuff, Titan Souls is going to hook you up big time. But, for us less extreme people, you're looking at a 2.5-hour game that you'll play once.